Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, Pakistan's under-19 team is on a roll in the Junior Asia Cup, and they've been performing brilliantly well. They're still top Group A with 2 out of 2 wins, but beating India is always special, isn't it? And they managed to beat the Indian under-19 team by 8 wickets. India made 259 for 9 in their allotted 50 overs. Pakistan chased the target down with 8 wickets in hand, courtesy of Azan, who scored a century, and Pakistan secured victory. So we'll be talking all about this game and a lot of these prospects, including a young fast bowler that is being discussed a lot throughout the world. We're going to be focusing on all of these because primarily Australia, but not good news. Abrar Ahmed has been ruled out of the first test match at the Optus Stadium in Perth. PCB's medical panel made the decision after consulting initial doctors' recommendations. They also went for a further MRI scan, and where it was believed that further intervention is needed, and therefore they haven't ruled him out of the series, but they're going to sideline him and they're going to wait what happens until the second or third test match and then decide. But in the meantime, the team management sent a request to the chief selector Wahab Riaz for a replacement of Sajid Khan, to which he accepted, and Sajid will now be making his way to Australia to join the Pakistan test side for this first test match. Then of course we talk about some more great news for Pakistan as far as hockey is concerned. The FIA Junior Hockey World Cup, and Pakistan have qualified for the quarterfinals. They will be facing Spain in the quarterfinals, and it's been a remarkable performance. The final game against Belgium ended in a 1-all draw, but Pakistan would only need a draw to qualify while Belgium needed to win, and it was a remarkable comeback from Pakistan. And the way they've been performing in this tournament, I think I've got a lot of hopes from this junior hockey side to make amends for something that has not been there as far as the talent and the flavor of international hockey is concerned. So I think we'll talk about that in detail. Then of course we move on to the Red Tone Junior Squash Championship, where Pakistan's Mohammad Zaman has won silver medal. He was of course beaten by Leung 11-8, 11-7, 11-6, 6-11 and 8-11. So that's what we're discussing on the show in detail today. Time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios we've been joined by cricket commentator and cricket expert Kashif Shabir. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
We've also been joined by sports expert Malik Usman. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Usman?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing well.
Now, that under-19 game that we're going to be talking about, we've got a report on that. Let's take a look and then we come back.
Remain in a commanding position throughout the chase. For his extraordinary batting display, Azan was awarded Player of the Match. The squad next faces Afghanistan on Tuesday at the same venue.
Well, there you have it. All you need to know about this under-19 game, and we were just discussing between that report by Sabah, we were discussing a couple of players for Pakistan, and I think we've got a good nursery to look forward to, but it's all about how they're groomed into that level as well. So Kashif, first of all, they've been performing very well in the Asia Cup so far, but a game against India is always hyped up in our part of the world. So I think a remarkable victory by these boys.
Game against India is always hyped up all over the world, I think, and it's a good news for Pakistan because Pakistan has got a real good nursery of talented players. But now, as we were talking about it, Ahmed, it is all about grooming, how we can groom all these players, because we know that the talent exists in Pakistan. That is why we have been talking about the fact that we need quality trainers, quality coaches, not only for the Pakistan team, but for the under-19s and for the domestic circuit as well. Because that is where from you develop the players. And that is how we can develop players. And this is what has been done throughout the world. Every country is following this route. And we need to also follow this path if Pakistan want to progress. And the good news is that we have got, again, a big battery of fast bowlers. Zishan and Ubaid, all these bowlers, they are performing pretty well. And the best part is that they are, they have the capability, the ability to swing the ball, to seam the ball, and they are pitching it at the right direction, which is very, very important for any fast bowler. Plus, we have got quality batsmen available with us. You talk about Shamil, you talk about Azan. We have seen how they have played. Saad Beg, captain, he performed pretty well. So everything is available for Pakistan. The talent hunt is always there. But now, how we can groom them, how we can, prepare them so that they can approach to the national team and in a manner that they can perform well for Pakistan.
Well, certainly. But Usman, like I said, that these boys are performing well, but it's all going to be the structure that transcends them from this under-19 circuit towards the national side.
Certainly, as my friend Kashif was talking about the talent and the nursery we are talking about and how they are going to be groomed in the future, that is the key point here, right? A couple of years back, our under 19 team wasn't performing that well, but this group or this lot is doing exceptionally well, and that they have just given a glimpse of their talent against India. They just outmaneuvered India in every department of the game. And gone are the days when Pakistan used to win toss and bat first, and had they got to field first, it was as if Pakistan was going to lose the game. But this brand of cricket that Pakistan has been adopting for the past couple of years, it has transformed into an under 19 style of cricket as well, and they also like to chase even if the opportunity arises, and this is how they are performing. As Kashif Saab was talking about, Shamil, Saad, Awais, they all are doing well. And Mohammad Zishan, who can forget about him, a couple of years back when under 19 World Cup was close by, he was still the talk of the town, and yet again he's the talk of the town in Asia under 19. And look at his confidence when he talks about that he wanted to run through the Indian batting lineup and claim all the 10 wickets, but in his luck it was only 4 wickets. That is the confidence he's having, and his superb performance again Nepal was, if anything, to go by. He has done it once again against India, and he is the player to watch out for this Pakistan side. Talking about a lot of batting, this Mohammad Zishan, hailing from Faisalabad, 6'8", 140 Ks, I think he's someone Pakistan national team and Pakistan National Cricket Academy should look forward to.
And just 17 years old.
And he's only 17 years and 120 odd days old. And he's something for the future, along with these great batsmen, which shouldn't be looking too far ahead. But with the tournaments that Pakistan is going through in domestic cricket, the cricket level is improving. PESL is there to be watched out for, and so these players have a lot to gain from these tournaments, and it won't be far away. The national team call won't be far away for some of these players. They should be looking forward to this. But first of all, Asia Cup and under 19 World Cup.
Absolutely. Kashif, sometimes if you've got an exceptional talent, then you tend to expedite the process. But you've got to be very smart enough that how you handle that youngster, whether you make him tour with the national side, whether involved in a major PSL franchise, something that probably, gives him that dressing room environment.
Exactly. And Ahmed, the most important thing is that we have got 3 different formats of cricket available with us. We have to decide that which player is going to play which format of the game, whether he is suitable for T20, one days or the test match, because we have to cater for all these 3 types of cricket games. The most important thing is this. Secondly, we have to, adjust the domestic system in a way that all these players, they are well utilized in the domestic circuit. They should know which is the category they are playing and what is their specific role, how they have to be played. Then we don't have to overburden them, because in the past we have seen that the fast bowlers like Shaheen Shah Afridi, we overburdened him to an extent that he was not available for the major tournaments. That is again a very crucial point for Pakistan. Secondly, PSL, I think PSL is the way forward, because that is a tournament where you can give exposure to all these players. They can play with the international community, with big names they can play, and they can show their talent, and that is where we can find the real talent for Pakistan.
Talent certainly there. On and off, you get to highlight them on the bigger stage as well, like we're talking about some of these players. But Usman, what's missing that
Define very, very carefully, because if someone is batting as a finisher or if someone is batting as an opener, you cannot have a defined formula for both of them. For an opener or a top middle order batsman.
But what about the definition of the format? Because the biggest debate in Pakistan has been identifying separate players and teams for formats.
That's a very valid question. I would take you back to the comment made by Saurav Ganguly. What he said was, you can get stars, you can get players for T20s from these leagues, these PSLs, CPLs, IPLs, but players for one days and tests, you need to play the longer format of the game. Without the temperament, you cannot feature in that. I have seen now players are even featuring in T10s and they want to be part of a 50-over game. If you look at Pakistan's record, I am coming back to your question, but what is missing? We are talking about the young talent. I'm talking about the experienced players. So once you get them in, look at their game against Prime Minister 11, 30, 40 odds. What is 30-40? That is only a start for a great player. He needs to convert that into a big 50 or a century. That is not happening even in one day, neither it's happening in test. And it's a T20, it's a good T20 score. So what is missing is the temperament. So how are you going to define a player who's going to be picked for a one day or a test? That is, you have to come out of the glamorous style of innings that you need to feature in. You need to make those stars which are known for these one days and test. For example, a good Babar Azam innings is a 90 strike rate, 80-90 score. But if you want a swashbucking 20-30 runs of 10-15 balls, he's your star, and 80-90 scoring person is not your star. So you need to define what is a good performance for a one day and what is a good performance for a test, and that is a massive score and not a 30-40 run innings. This is as far as a batsman is concerned. As far as bowlers are concerned, the problem with us Pakistanis is they break down too quickly, and that means they are not taking enough matches into their strides in domestic cricket, and they are more into playing franchise cricket. That is another problem. I think that has been sorted to an extent by this new regime. They have only given NOCs for 2 events apart from the PSL.
Yes.
You may agree or you may disagree, but I think that will keep a good watchdog on these players, and they will keep them fit as well.
Kashif, same question. I think identification when it comes to formats is something that has been not very common in Pakistan. But what's been common, on the other hand, is playing wrong players for the wrong formats. That's what we've done.
Exactly, and this is why I was saying that the most important thing is the domestic structure, because that is where you can groom your players. If you want a player for the test match, you cannot get that quality from PSL or from T20. You have to have a Quaid-e-Azam Trophy sort of a tournament. But unfortunately in Pakistan, we've got just one tournament, and that is Quaid-e-Azam Trophy. From that Quaid-e-Azam Trophy, you cannot find T20 one-day players or a test match player. So you have to identify first the tournaments, then you have to identify the talent, then the players, what kind of players they are. Secondly, what about the coaches? Who is going to train them? Who is going to create that temperament which is required in the player? That comes from the coaches, from the trainers. You need to have quality trainers there. If you want to bring some, outsider as a trainer, you have to bring him to that nursery so that he can train the players, he can train the temperament, he can train the quality. Because we know that in Pakistan talent is there, but how we can groom that talent, that is very important.
I think for the first time in under-19, we've got a major name like Mohammad Yusuf who's going to be working with us. First time ever.
Exactly. Now you have to give quantitative targets to Mohammad Yusuf, that this is what we are looking for. Again, Ahmed, we are talking about fast bowlers, we are talking about batsmen, but we are not talking about spinners. The problem in Pakistan is we lack quality of spinner. Just look at the example that Ibrar is not available for the team, and only one spinner is available, that is Sajid Khan. Sajid Khan has been used in the past, but he has not been performing to the extent that which is required in the international circuit. But the dilemma is that we only have one spinner available. That is the problem. Again, we are not talking about the product which we are looking for. So Mohammad Yusuf need to be given that target. That is why I'm saying we need to give him quantitative targets. This is the number that we require, and this is the performance that is required from these under-19 players, because there has to be a talent hunt program. Like Lahore Qalandars, they did exceptionally well, because that is how they developed this talent and groomed the talent, and then this talent was used for the Pakistan team. So this is what we have to do. This is exactly what has been done by India. And now look at the talent which is available with them. The bench strength which is available with India is absolutely exceptional, and they have been working on with the under-19 team. Dravid has been doing all this, and now everything is available with India. So we can adopt the same track, we can adopt the same formula and use it for the Pakistan team.
Well, Usman, that's interesting that franchises can have a very, I think, structured players development program, a talent hunt program as well, and then they can identify players, and obviously their main target is to rush them through a process and get them involved into the PSL. But then again, that also gives them some sort of bargaining tool, which every franchise wants maximum of their players to play for Pakistan. And sometimes I think the young children right now are more interested to join the talent hunt programs or trials of these PSL franchises rather than PCB holding a talent hunt camp anywhere in Pakistan.
See, there are a lot of issues regarding those things, but I would like to add one point here. Suddenly your under-19 team has become so strong, and the last couple of events we were not that strong, we all know that. Just a couple of years back we had only Shaheen Shah Afridi, and he was already a star before the under-19 World Cup even started. And at that time Rahul Dravid was the Indian coach, and they eliminated Pakistan from the quarterfinals, and he went to the Pakistan dressing room only to congratulate Shaheen Shah Afridi that he's your future star, you need to work on this guy. So that had nothing to do with the system, he was already a star. And now suddenly our Pakistan under-19 team has become strong. I think it would be very unfair if we don't give some credit to Ramiz Raja in this for organizing a Pakistan Junior League, and majority of the under-19 players have come from that. So one answer to your question is this. Secondly, event conducted by PCB at the talent hunt, how much fair it is. I was going through some of the social media news as well, and PCB management was also answering those questions. The only answer to that questions were that majority of these people don't trust this PCB player hunting. But as far as franchise hunting is concerned, because it's a business, it's an organization, you have much more trust because they go for value for money. And if they find a talent, they will utilize their resources to him, they will pay him well, everything is done. But as far as PCB is concerned, there are some lacunas, there are some trust deficit going on there. I don't know how much it is true, but as compared to franchise cricket, certainly a person will prefer franchise talent hunt rather than a PCB talent. That is the another question. But coming to the third point, see, there is an element of interest for the franchise as well. When you want to have an emerging player category is always there in the PSL. So if you're looking for an emerging player, you can even execute that event in your talent hunt and find out a player who can do wonders not only for Pakistan but certainly for your franchise.
Absolutely. I think that is the real way forward as well. But that being said, congratulations to the Pakistan under-19 team. They're certainly going well, and like Usman said, that I think the target should be to first winning this tournament and then looking ahead to the future as well. That being said, we'll go towards a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss Pakistan versus Australia, the test series that starts on the 14th. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Extra. Time now to discuss Pakistan's tour to Australia. The 3 test matches, of course, they start on the 14th of December at the Optus Stadium at Perth. We're all looking forward to it, but right now things are not good when we can talk about the team news as well. And although we were discussing who's going to be that one spinner, I think that question has been resolved now. But Kashif, not good news. I mean, I understand that most of us did not want Abrar to play this test match, but play at Sydney probably. But then again, this is not good, a good sign, where they had to, extend that medical report to an MRI scan, and then it was finally decided that he's not going to be playing.
I think as far as Abrar is concerned, yes, not a good news for Pakistan and not good news for Abrar, because we wanted to see him getting that match against Australia. But I think overall, if you talk about the team, I think the team is geared up, because the way they played against Prime Minister 11, they showed their talent and everybody performed well, especially the captain and Shan Masood. I think it is a good opportunity for Shan Masood, plus for the bowlers. But we have been talking about the spinning department. That is the position where we are lacking. But as we discussed in the last program as well, that the first match is going to be given to Numan Ali, because he's more experienced, he has got more talent, and I think he is the first choice for the Perth test. And we have been hearing a lot about this wicket, how it is going to behave, whether it is going to support the bowlers, the spinners or the batsmen. It all has to be seen once the match is started. Everybody is not sure about the wicket, so I think Pakistan should be very careful. Pakistan should go safe. Pakistan should go with the first 11 that is available with them. We've got good pace attack available with us. All the batters, they are in good form. I think it is all, because if you don't put pressure on Australia, they are going to bounce back and they will get you hard. So Pakistan has to be very careful. The batters has to take the responsibility, because this is going to be the batters' match against Australia.
Certainly. Usman, what are your thoughts? Initially, like I said, that Abrar is now sidelined.
Lost at all. But the unfortunate part is, if he doesn't play this series, our next series might be close to August, and he's going to miss out on those 8 months. And he was much hyped about as the best spinner in Pakistan, and he was a lot talked about in the World Cup as well. But unfortunately, he's injured now, and I agree with Kashif Saab that Numan is going to be the first choice spinner. It's not going to be Sajid Khan, and he actually underperformed in the last couple of matches and he was dropped, although he started pretty well. Our spinners tend to have good outing in Pakistan home tests, but when they go away, they just don't perform to the level they are expected to do. As far as Pakistan versus Australia in general is concerned, I think it is going to be Pakistan's batting versus Australia's bowling. It is going to be in that kind of a contest, because I don't think our bowling, I beg your pardon, is that strong that it is going to skittle out Australia twice in a test match. I don't see that coming. We have a good bowling lineup, but it's not that good enough. And with the kind of pitches that are now functioning in Australia too, it is not that it's going to be a bowler's paradise. Perth once used to be a fast bouncy track. It used to assist the fast bowlers, but I think those days are gone. Even once India won in Perth, it was talked about that these Perth pitches are not that kind of pitches that where pace and bounce was too often on offering for the faster bowlers, and that was one of the reasons why India defeated Australia, with all due respect to India's victory. So if that is anything to go by, I think Pakistani batsmen have a good chance of scoring big in these test matches, and with the Sydney test also in the offing, that is much more Asian kind of conditions, and that test Pakistan has an opportunity to win the test series, test match, and this is going to be a far more competitive test series if our batsmen get going.
Well, Usman, currently they have been in form. Now, when I talk about form, I particularly mean Shan Masood, because the problem I have with the other batters is the same thing that you mentioned, that 30, 40s are not going to cut it. But even for that, I think the major problem has been that even if our batters have crossed the half century, the first milestone mark, they've still not been able to convert it into a big 100. And now modern cricket in test match has even moved from 100 to 150 and 180s.
That is the problem with this Pakistan side. That is where they might struggle. I don't think they should be struggling too much again with the form they are in, but that is how they have been going, that the temperament issue is there. But these pitches will assist their batting. The ball does come onto the bat, and these are fast outfields, and you get value for your shots. So if they are able to convert these innings, their 30, 40s into 80, 90s or a good 100, I don't see the Pakistan scoring less than 450. And once there are runs on the board, your bowlers get a lot of confidence, and you can place attacking fields, and you can test this Australian side. This Australian side, mind you, is not unbeatable by any means. And these are the kind of toes that make you stars, they make you legends. And Pakistani players have an opportunity for this to get them.
Well, Kashif, there is an opportunity, and I think all these batters are carrying that self-confidence that can give them an edge. But obviously, like I said, it has to be that conversion that's got to be in their minds.
You're absolutely right, but we don't expect all the batsmen to, make big hundreds. We are expecting only one or two batsmen to carry on with the runs, and maybe they can cross 100 and 150. And that task can be given to Shan Masood and Babar Azam. The others, if all they can chip in with say 40, 50 runs, that would be good enough for Pakistan. But coming back to the wicket, if the wicket is on the slow side, you never know. Pakistan can play with two spinners, two fast bowlers and an all-rounder. That all-rounder can be, Fahim Ashraf. He can be a possible choice for Pakistan. So if Pakistan can go with the 3-2 combination for the bowlers, that can be a good opportunity for Pakistan. But the batters, they have to pitch in. They have to make good score for Pakistan, because Usman is absolutely right that Pakistan, the pacers, they don't have the capability to take 20 wickets off Australians. That is going to be very difficult for Pakistan. But if Pakistan manage to draw the match, that is also going to be a win for Pakistan, because we know that Australia is a better side if you compare it with Pakistan. But batting, I think Shan Masood is going to be a good leader. Babar Azam, he's out of that burden of captaincy, so that he can also, contribute in the batting side. Everyone is looking for Babar Azam. The whole world is talking about Babar Azam. We know that he's a talented player, so he needs a companion, a person who can contribute along with him. So, along with Babar Azam, we've got Shan Masood, Mohammad Rizwan, and maybe the openers, Abdullah Shafiq. Because I strongly suspect that Abdullah Shafiq is going to be the man of the tournament this time, because he has the talent, and he's at a position where Pakistan want him to score. Because if Pakistan can have a good platform in the form of Abdullah Shafiq and Imam ul Haq, that can lead to big totals, and then Shan Masood and Babar Azam can be out of that, a burden of making big totals.
But Kashif, in Australia, the temperament question becomes a bit tricky, because you can't just bat all day long and expect to block everything that's thrown at you. Australia is a kind of place where you need to score runs as quickly as you can in Test cricket.
I think Ahmed, the format of Test cricket has also been changed. Baseball from England, it has totally changed the game, the concept of game. The cricket has been modernized, and Pakistan has taken that lead, and Pakistan is not going to block. They are going to score at a very brisk rate. By brisk, I mean about 3.5 to 4 is a good run rate for Pakistan. And against Prime Minister 11, Pakistan showed this talent. Pakistan scored around 3.5 run rate. They maintained that run rate. So if Pakistan can score anywhere between 3.5 to 4, I think it is going to be a good run rate for Pakistan. And for one day, if they can manage around 300 runs, that can be a good total. And if Pakistan can score around 350 to 450 runs, they can exert that pressure which is required for Australia.
Well, certainly. And at this moment, I think just a small shout out to our very dear friend, Mr. Ali Mehdi, who is watching the show. and he just told me that he's enjoying it as well. So Ali, thank you very much for staying tuned, and we hope to see you here soon again. Of course, Ali is also a particular individual who loves Test cricket as a format. But Usman, I think the question of scoring runs at a brisk rate in Australia is going to be looming over the team's combination and everything that they get to bat against as well.
See, I always think that if a strength of a team is to attack, the best way to respond is also to attack. Let fire meet fire, and Pakistan for once has to change their game style of play, and recently they started this Pakistan way, as Mikiyatha used to put it, and in this cycle's World Test Championship against Sri Lanka, they played 2 test matches, and they actually showed what is this Pakistan way, and that is to play a kind of aggressive kind of batting. And Kashif Saab was talking about 3.5 to 4. I completely agree. That was the figure I had in my mind as well, that this is the run rate that Pakistan needs to target, because simply blocking on these kind of pitches is not going to work, because if there is bounce and pace in this pitch, for the sake of discussion, I think Pakistan doesn't have even a single player who can block his way throughout the day. That is not going to happen. If you have a temperament like Chiteshwar Pujara, as he did it in the tour against Australia, and he actually won them the series, and he did it remarkably well. But then you need to have players like Virat Kohli's, and you need to have players like Rahane's and all who can score briskly and they can take the game forward. But for Pakistan, I think 2 key players, Abdullah Shafiq is going to be extremely important, and he has superb temperament as far as an opener is concerned, and you can actually bet your life on him as far as if you have to pick between Imamul Haq and Abdullah Shafiq. But I think the 2 key players for Pakistan as far as this batting lineup is concerned has to be, because of their positions, number 4 Babar Azam, number 5 Saud Shakil. Because by that time the ball would be slightly older, it won't be jagging around that much, and I think that is when it would be best coming onto the bat. And before the second ball chips in, the batsmen, if they are in, they are mightily in. They might be close to 100 or something, and from 6 and 7 they are the ones who are going to negotiate the new ball, and if they are in, they have to score it very briskly. This is going to be the style of play. Abdullah Shafiq to hold one end, the other players to take the game forward.
Well, it's going to be interesting, Kashif, not just the fast bowling, but how Pakistan negotiate the threat of Nathan Lyon if it gets to the 3rd, 4th day as well.
Nathan Lyon is going to be very tricky for Pakistan. Remember, against England, they were just cruising the Australians. Once they lost Nathan Lyon, everything turned against the Australians. So Nathan Lyon is very important, and he knows the art of bowling. He has all the variety available with him. Pakistan is going to be finding it very difficult to negotiate against Nathan Lyon. But in the past we have seen that all the Pakistani players, they can play spin very well. So let's see how they will negotiate against Nathan Lyon. But the Pakistanis, as I said earlier, that Pakistan is going to go with 2 spinners and maybe 3 pace attackers. Then they've got Fahim Ashraf and Ahmed Jamal as all-rounders available with them. So combination of 5 and 6 is going to be very good for Pakistan. But coming back to the Australian attack, I think Nathan Lyon plus the pace attack. Pace attack is also very important for Australia, because they know where to pitch the ball, and they are very, very consistent. They rely not only on the pace but on the consistency, which is very difficult for Pakistan. The best way of defense is to attack. So Pakistan has to attack Australia. They cannot defend the whole day. They cannot defend against Australia. They have to post big totals on the board, which is very important. And Pakistani players and batsmen, they have the ability, because we've got at least 5 recognized batsmen available with us. And if any 2 of them performs well, it is going to be very good for Pakistan.
I will ask one question to both of you. With the level of spinner these Australians have in their team, and the way they bowl, they cut it so consistently, would they like a drier pitch against Pakistan or a fast bouncy track?
Yes, Kashif.
I think a fast bouncy track, because they know that Pakistan is not very comfortable against pace, and they have the ability. They have got a better pace attack. Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Starc, a very good combination. But if you compare it with the Pakistani pace attack, I think they've got a weak pace attack. They don't have the required pace, plus they don't have the seam and the swing which is required in Australia. So I think they would prefer a bouncy track, a fast track, as compared to the spinning track.
Well, my sources have told me so far, and when I say my sources, then I particularly mean Mr. Shirazi, who has given us a very, I think, pertinent heads up that right now what pictures tell us is that you can't differentiate between the ground and the pitch. So it's a lush green track, what we're
That will be
expecting.
shaved off.
And we also talked about that social media said that Pakistan team was bluffed They gave them a flat track against the Prime Minister's 11, and now they're going to test our batters.
Or they're doing in India what they did in the World Cup. So this is going to become a routine. Doesn't matter. I think Pakistani players, for that matter, would be mentally prepared that they are going to get fast and bouncy tracks.
No,
I don't think this.
I'm sure Australia knows that Pakistan's strength at this moment is their batting side. They've got very good quality batters, so they have to exploit what Pakistan does not have. They don't have the pace which is required. Pakistani pace is very weak, and they have seen it in the World Cup.
But then again, Kashif, what's your combination for the fast bowlers? That is something that we've been discussing day in and day out.
Yeah.
And there is also a possibility that Khurram Shahzad might be debuting in the first Test match.
I think it would be Mir Hamza, Hassan Ali, and Shaheen Shah Afridi. These three can, lead the pace attack along with Amir Jamal. He can be the fourth pacer, along because he can bat well as well.
Yes,
I think Fahim Ashraf in place of Amir Jamal.
Yeah,
I think that is going to be back of a length delivery. And if we get a green pitch, I think it could be a double bluff as well for Australians, because that is going to take Lyon out of the game. And if it becomes pace versus pace, I think we can give a much better fight as far as pace versus pace is concerned, because their spinner is far more superior to ours.
Well, see, I think whatever the conditions are, Nathan Lyon, you cannot take him out of the game.
That is true.
He is very tricky.
He'll never be taken out of the equation anytime. But gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us, Kashif and Usman. That, of course, wraps it up for me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.